We've come a long way on this bill. We've tried to address all the concerns of the victims and other people across the state that had questions. And today is the right day to do the right thing.
Who is to say how much something like this is worth? But I bring the amendment to you simply because one of the perplexing things about the timing of this bill has been the fact that we waited decades until we have a budget. I hate to overuse the word crisis, but you know what kind of situation our budget's in. And I can remember years when we had billion-dollar-plus surpluses when the minority party now was the majority party, and this didn't seem to be nearly the priority that suddenly it's become here 40 and 50 years after the fact.
It seems to me that loss of reproductive function is a pretty high value, and so to lower it to $20,000 seems to me to be very much out of line with what we would be otherwise compensating for in other arenas of state government.
I don't know how you put a price on this, but to, $50,000 when you multiply it by all those victims may seem a lot when you step back from it. But when you think about what a human being has endured, what these people went through, and what they were deprived of, $50,000 is a tiny, tiny amount of money.
You've got people from all different kinds of backgrounds and all different kinds of level of family participation. I understand that in some instances the families actually asked for this to happen, and it just seems like
Mr. Speaker,
even the ones...
The members will clear the line. Representative Weiss.
I was wondering if the gentleman would yield for a
I yield.
The gentleman yields.
Thank you. Representative Blust, are you aware that in some situations family members were told that they would not receive food stamps or any type of social services help unless they signed these contracts? Are you aware that this was done under duress in many cases?
I've been told all kinds of things, and that's my point, is there are different factors involved, and I understand many of these people since then have received all kinds of government benefits, and in fact I think the bill as crafted says this isn't going to affect their eligibility for anything in the future, so many have received stipends from the state, sometimes for many years, that some might argue is some sort of compensation. So this is just a lot of money, and one of my big thoughts here, I thought about perhaps structuring the amendment to pay this over time. I have great qualms as to how much this is going to help some of the victims, in that here's going to be a $50,000 check, and I'm just wondering how many a year from now are still going to have that $50,000 and are going to even benefit from it. I just don't know if they're even set up to handle this in many situations.
We all know that this should have been done in a year when we were flush with money, and that we're not flush with money right now, and this is a bad time to be spending $50,000 on each of these. But we also know that there's a time when you just have to do what's right, and this is one of those times.